Hello, everyone. So today I was able to attend an early screening of the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talents. This, of course, stars Nick Cage playing a character named Nick Cage. It is, of course, a bit of a satire of himself, of Hollywood, of his career, of his fans, and a bunch of things like that. This movie comes in at about an hour and 45 minutes long. It also stars Pedro Pascal. It is just a crazy, super meta movie that I'm very excited to talk about and I've been waiting to see for a little bit. So, yes, without further ado, let me get into my review for The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. So, of course, this movie kind of takes place now in Nicolas Cage's career. He's done all these movies that he's done in his actual career, and you can definitely tell like which ones they favorite. They talk a lot about Con Air, National Treasure, kind of like his biggest movies. They leave out some things like Ghost Rider and Pig and more movies like that, but they do make some jokes about basically art student projects, which would kind of fit into what Pig was about. It's taking on roles like that or superhero movies, bringing in basically crowds of people just for the name Marvel and a bunch of things like that. And he's kind of getting to a point where he's feeling like he's washed up, he's losing touch with his wife, his daughter. Basically, things aren't going well for his life. And basically, the only kind of silver lining that he has is that he gets invited to basically spend some time with a very wealthy man in Spain who is a fan. He doesn't really know much along the lines of why he's being sent out there. But this person is, of course, played by Pedro Pascal, and he's just a super massive fan who really wants to spend some time with him. They eventually start bonding with one another, but all of a sudden the CIA kidnaps Nick Cage one night when he's in Spain and tells him that the person he's spending time with is a cartel boss who is basically just trying to get more political power for himself. And he is an absolutely terrible person that the US government has been trying to take down for a long time. And they recruit him to spy on Javi, which is Pedro Pascal's character. So it basically turns into a just crazy movie from right that point on. And it basically has Nick Cage having to use what he believes to be his acting chops to make Javi believe that he is there to be his friend and not, of course, just there to take him down, make money off of him for one. And it's just basically a way for him to reconnect to a new form of acting and kind of get back into the game, the mindset of wanting to do movies again. Because, again, like I said, he's feeling washed up in this film. So, like I said, this is a big satire of just the roles he's had to take on, of almost like method acting, and of course, too, of just kind of the point that some actors get to in their lives where it feels like they've just done so much and they lose touch of what can be important in their lives and their families, things like that. There's a bunch of, like I said too, I mentioned it a little bit earlier, talk about just what brings people into these films. And I don't want to get too much into it for spoiler's sake, but there is kind of movie within a movie that is kind of discussed within this film. And so there's definitely a lot of satire that plays into the plots of this movie. And of course, too, just Hollywood as a whole, where they talk about movies not knowing what they want to be that turn into a bunch of different things in order to appeal to crowds and bring people in. And of course, this is exactly what that movie does, but it's making fun of all those tropes and just a ton of just a ton of movies. And again, like I said, they're tropes, they're flaws, things like that. And even though they're present in this film, it's the way that it tells its story and progresses forward and just makes an absolute mockery of just essentially blockbusters, movies, and people trying to find stories within tiny little things. And I found that the humor in this movie is absolutely hilarious. It's really, really funny. And there's a bunch of different types of humor in it too, where I think everyone's going to be able to get a laugh out of it in some form of humor or another. I mean, there's an hilarious sequence where Javi and Nick Cage trip acid, and just like the action sequence that comes from it is so funny, and it's like the acting that they both do to again just play off of their love of movies is absolutely hilarious. There's hilarious conversations about their favorite movies. The way this movie ends is absolutely hilarious to me too. It's very touching at a lot of points too, just in the storytelling of him trying to connect with his family and of course to connect back to acting. Javi, I mean, Pedro Pascal is awesome in this movie. His character is absolutely cute and just so fun to watch. Of course, Nick Cage brings an amazing performance. There's one kind of elements to his character which I found was so funny. Where again, I don't want to get into it too much, but he basically has to reconnect with his past self sometimes in order to figure out what they want to do movie wise, and just the conversations that kind of come with him talking to himself, I think, are just some of the star points of this movie and just how hilarious they are. It's yeah, definitely parts that carry the movie for me, and I just thought was absolutely hilarious. I do really want to watch this movie again. I found it an absolute romp, and it's like by no means a perfect movie, but it's so self-aware of everything that it's doing, and I did quite enjoy it. When it comes to like the action sequences and some of how the events play out of basically like gun violence, gunfights, things like that, it's just so ridiculous. And of course, the scenarios are so tropey in the way that like bad guys have terrible aim. There's no way that like these people would hear the gunshots or that so, events would play out the way that they did. But they again just do it in a way that's so funny and again self-aware, which I appreciate. And they had a lot of fun with it, which made me have a lot of fun with the movie as well. So again, this movie's super meta. It's absolutely bonkers and hilarious. It just takes so many twists and turns that can be predictable to see, but truly I had a lot of fun with this movie and everything it did. I thought it was hilarious, and I definitely will watch it again. And I can easily recommend it, and that is why I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I would say definitely go check this one out in the theaters if you want to have a good laugh. But truly, if you want to laugh, if you like Nick Cage, things like that, movies that are self-aware, have lots of that humor, definitely check this one out. It is very funny and very worth your time. So in the comments, if you've seen The Unbearable Weights of Massive Talents, please let me know what you thought about it. And of course, if you like this review, you can definitely give it a thumbs up and check out everything I do on this channel through a playlist down below and I'll links up top here. Thank you for subscribing and clicking that bell so you know when I upload new videos. If you want to check out everything I do live streaming Twitch-wise, there is a link to that in the description of this video and of course my channel bio. And in both of those places, there is a link to the Media Mountain, which is my Discord, where we talk about movies, video games, comic books, TV, pretty much everything that's awesome in this world. So you can definitely join that amazing community. I'll make it even more amazing than it is already. But yes, please go check out this film. It's absolutely awesome. And yeah, just awesome, guys.